Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Don and Frank with us, as is Stevie Nicol, celebrating his first ever hole-in-one by wearing a very shiny T-shirt today. What a moment, Stevie.
Yeah, that was my prize.
Yeah?
That was my prize for winning.
Let's boogie night. I think it's quite all right.
The best part for Stevie and your hole-in-one was that the bar was shut and you didn't have to buy anyone a drink. I understand, Mr. Nicol.
Yeah, golf club, the bar was shut. cost me zero, nothing.
Right then, lots of tweets about the discussion we had over the last couple of days about the handball rule. Why does Stevie not think players will start hitting it at players' arms to cheat? We already started seeing it, and it's the same as diving, deceiving the referee.
Well,
Thank you.
You got to remember, particularly in the Premier League, the game's played at such a pace that you think players have got time to go, oh, hold on a wee second, I know what I'll do. I'll kick it at his hand.
They will, Stevie.
Sorry.
They will.
Oh, shush.
I'm
So you got a crystal
that
ball?
tweet is absolutely bang on.
Have you got a crystal ball?
Players will start kicking it off
And I'll
defenders'
tell you,
hands.
right, I'll tell you what. If I'm coaching a team, right, and I've got me player, and he's in the penalty box, and he tries to hit something in the hand and kicks it away wide of the goal, I'm going to go, hey, what are you doing?
You
trying
do
to put the ball in the net here,
realise
we're in
the
the penalty
18-yard box
It's
is
so-
quite big.
Yeah.
Frank, where do you stand on this? Will
You've got to
players,
start kicking it at them.
will players
What a lot
start
of nonsense.
purposely kicking the ball at players' arms?
I think some will do, and some has done that. You know, because I've seen some games where you say, why the guy is just kicked like that? You know, did he try to do it on purpose? And I think a couple of times I saw that the players was aiming
right. Come on, then, name
some
of the game.
players' hands.
Tell me when you saw it.
I know it was a League One game, a game that you didn't see because we have fantastic football here around France, you know. And I saw a guy was trying in the 6-yard box.
No, League One, the guy was probably having a shot and it went straight at the guy's hand. That's what happened.
Well, we cannot talk though.
Stevie said yesterday that if a player is more than 1 metre away, then it should be a penalty. This was the yardstick he was using. Stevie, would your 1 metre away handball rule need to have exceptions? A player in the Roma-Juventus game was a very close distance away, but his hand was in a very unnatural position.
That's an excellent question, Dan. An excellent question. And don't get me wrong, this is a suggestion to try and get closer to having less controversy every week. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not saying that this is the answer. I'm just saying it's something that could be looked into. And I hadn't thought of that. You know, if you're closer than a metre away and it hits you in the hand because your hand's up here. But now you've asked me the question, I would have to say, you know what? Again, to make it clear to everybody, the answer is, regardless of where your hands are, if you're less than a metre away, then it's not a penalty.
What if
So
you're on the
how
goal line?
are you going to police that, Steve? You're going to get like a VAR measuring stick for a metre? What if it's a metre and an inch?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you've noticed, but they've got all the measuring devices in VAR that you could wish for. So, are you telling me they couldn't measure a distance between two players? I'm sure they could. And again, I'm not saying this is the answer to Pythagoras' theorem. I'm just saying this is an option that will take away controversy. And whether some people like the idea or not, it takes away all the controversy. It just makes it a flat rule. And then after that, nobody can argue. You can dislike it.
Theorem.
You can't
What is
argue
the
it.
answer to Pythagoras' theorem, Stevie?
I haven't figured that one out either.
A metre.
But Stevie, what if he's on the goal line and he's within a yard, but it hits his hand because it's in an unnatural position?
Right, and again, listen, it's not going to be completely infallible. There are going to be a situation like a guy and anybody with half an ounce of brains, which I'm not so sure you have. If that happens to the guys on the goal line, then it's a penalty kick.
Right.
So
No, but I think I will
just
try
try to be
to be
clever.
Stevie's
You
lawyer.
just try to be clever as
I
usual.
think Yeah. Football is not. There is no only one rule in football, and at the end of the day, it's always the referee decision and the interpretation of the game. So if the ref feels that the guy is doing it on purpose, even if he's on the line and he's 1 yard or less than a yard, you have to give a penalty. If it's even a natural, but you see that the ball goes straight to his hand, it shouldn't be a penalty because the guy can put his hand out. That's up to the ref to decide, but in order to do that, you have to understand football. So you have to be used to football, so you have to play football. If you're a ref and you never play football, you will never get the game.
That's a bit of an issue, isn't it?
Dan, quiz question for you. I read an article today about David Ellery, who's in charge of one of the governing bodies, and he's been in charge for 4 years. How many rule changes do you think he's made in 4 years?
63.
Dan, you go first.
63.
Many? 63.
I say 63. Stephen?
Oh, is this a quiz?
Apparently. Don's taken over.
Go on. How many rule changes, law changes has
15.
David Ellery made in 4 years?
15.
15. Frank?
Frank doesn't care.
Un, deux.
33.
12.
33.
Frank, un, deux.
50.
33.
Try 200.
Oh.
200.
What?
200 in 4 years.
Can you name them all, Don? Go.
No, I couldn't name you more than 4.
I didn't know there was that many.
No, it's rubbish ones. Half of them are rubbish ones. Like, wouldn't bother yourself with them. But 200.
Oh.
Well, that still leaves 200.
Right. We'll edit that out, I think. Right. Is it harsh to criticise Pep for the defeat to Leicester when many of his key players are unavailable? And this was Man City's 3rd match in 6 days without any pre-season to it as well. Frank, what do you think?
We have no.
Well, you have to
this
give
yesterday,
credit to
Dan.
Leicester first. Can I talk? Can you say to the guys talking in the middle of the
It's
question?
Stevie, Frank. It's not me.
Stevie.
It's
Sorry,
Stevie.
Frank.
I know it's Stevie. I know
He's a
it's
changed
Stevie.
man.
No, really, I think first you have to give credit to Leicester. I mean, the game they offered to the fans has been absolutely fantastic. But it's true, it's hard to make a statement, after 2 days, 2 games, in the Premier League. We have to wait before judging everybody. So I want to give credit to Pep and the fact that it's hard for him to compose with all the problem that he has inside the squad, and I'm sure he's going to rectify everything, and City will try to chase Liverpool.
Right. He didn't rectify it last year, Frank. He had plenty of time to do
Well,
that.
no. Of course not, but I think he learned his lesson.
We clearly
and,
didn't learn
hopefully
his
he's
lesson.
gonna do
Vardy
it.
got a hat-trick yesterday again.
No, but I mean, we have a new signing, so we have to wait for the new signing to make sure the defense is going to get better.
Right.
We've been waiting for that.
But all his other
So
signings
now
have
he's
been
going to change
terrible.
everything.
Well, they just signed Ake.
Okay, so you've got all
What
the
did he do?
questions and all the answers. So do the show. What can I say? Do the show.
No, I've just got the answers, Frank.
Oh dear, right.
Yeah.
With the early struggle of some of the top Premier League teams, can Everton finish in the top 6 this season? Oh, top 6. Is that exciting? Don?
Who are you asking? Do I have to go there on predictions again after I predicted West Ham would finish in the top 4 last season? Of course Everton can try and hope for the top 6. Of course they can.
No.
Why not, Frank?
No, I don't. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it because I think everybody's going to wake up. So the team were a little bit sloppy right now is going to wake up, and you see that Leicester is there. So I see the same, almost the same team that we saw last season, finishing in the top 6, and Everton just after.
Stevie?
I'll tell you what, it's tough. Listen, I guess we can only go by what we've seen, and I kind of agree with Frank that it's a lot different after 3 games and it will be after 23 because they don't give prizes out right now. But what Everton have shown us is that if they continue to keep that standard up, then they can get in the top 6, no question. They've been as good as Spurs. They've been as good as Arsenal. They've been as good as Leicester. So if they keep playing the way they are, then they can do it.
What has happened to Wolves and Sheffield United, Don, this season? Do their performances prove how hard it is to maintain a consistent results in the Premier League?
Yeah, maybe second season syndrome, especially for Chrissy Wilder's men, Dan. I mean, they've not even scored a goal yet.
Wow.
So they're struggling, and they need to get going quickly, because I think they'll be okay. I don't think Sheffield will be in a relegation battle. I think they'll get going over the coming weeks, and I think Wolves will be okay. I thought Wolves at the start of the season would have been one of the teams that would finish in the top 6, but a shaky start from Nuno's men, but I still think they'll be okay.
For Don, would you rather have your friend Frank win the Premier League or West Ham finish in the top 4?
Oh, Frank to win the Premier League. I
Really?
love West Ham, but now I'm sort of getting quite close to Frank. I quite like him. I think he's got something about him. His dress sense is good. He puts Steve in his place every now and again. He's a bit crazy, so if he gets a medal, I'm happy.
Yeah? Frank Lampard over West Ham.
I thought you were talking Frank.
No.
I thought we were talking Frank in the middle.
No, what do you mean? How's Frank going to win the
No,
Premier League? Look
Frank
at the state of him. He's old.
Edit that, Dan. Get
I
rid of
can't-
that.
I can't win the
Edit,
Premier
another
League.
one, edit. Get rid of that awful quiz question and his awful answer.
I
Right,
just
go on.
thought, because I seen Frank, I thought it was Frank.
Why?
Yeah, you're right. There is only one
don't know.
Frank. There is only one Frank, and it's me.
Frank's not even your friend, he's your colleague.
I'd like to think we're getting closer. That's why I said. That's why I thought it was a strange question. But I thought, well, I'm not going to begrudge Frank a chance of winning the Premier League. Happy days.
How's he going to win the Premier League? Look at him.
Edit all of.
You don't
everything
know.
I've just said. Edit that off. Get rid of
I
everything.
can be the coach of any clubs next season and win the Premier League.
Oh,
You don't
no
know.
one-
We
no
don't know
one's
the
gonna
future of
listen to you.
anybody.
Okay, do the boys think they could be as successful in the modern game as they were back in their era? Well, that's a good question.
Easy.
Yeah? No problem?
Easy.
Yes, even better.
Even better?
Yeah, because we know how to defend.
Yeah? Stevie?
Most defenders don't know how to defend.
Stevie,
Yeah.
do you think you would be
Yeah,
the same?
absolutely.
Do you think you would have the same, like the same diet?
Well, I would because I would have been brought up differently.
Right.
The guys are brought up now. You know, kids are joining academies at 8 and 9 years old, Dan. So
Yeah.
they're getting all this stuff thrown at them from 8 and 9 years old. So yeah, absolutely. If the three of us were thrown in and brought up to do all the things they are doing now, we'd be faster, stronger. You can't take ability away. So if you put the strength and the fitness and all the other stuff together and the speed, then absolutely we'd be successul.
Yeah, be rich as well. You don't have to
Pitches
do
were
this
rotten
show.
in our day, Dan.
Say
Pitches
again,
were
Don?
terrible.
Aye, that wouldn't be bad, aye.
Yeah, you'd have lots of money. Go on, Don, what were you saying?
No, I'm just saying the pitches in our day were terrible. So we had to learn to try and play when it was muddy, when it was sandy. You look at the pitches these days, they're absolute carpets. We would have been a lot more professional. Me and Stevie wouldn't have had our nights out on a Tuesday with a day off. Coming in on Thursday maybe with a slight hangover. So the kids that are playing now, the fellas that are playing now, they are supreme athletes. And I'd back all us three to be a lot better in the current climate than we were in our day.
Do you think it would be as much fun though, Stevie?
Absolutely, 100% not.
No.
I'd be absolutely stinking rich and miserable. There you go.
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Frank?
No, it's just because I see some. Do you know? I was, you know, how do you say, designed as a designated as a soft defender because I wasn't strong enough. But when I see some defenders in the Premier League, and I will never name anybody, you know, you can just see a few who did a good career in England, where they are half or even twice softer, I would say, than I was at the time. And they had a decent career in England. It says to you how the Premier League changed comparing to my time, but also Stevie and just before Don time.
In light of the international break coming up, Don, does Stevie, Frank and Don as pundits hate the international break as much as most fans do?
I do. Listen, it's difficult because, you know, when you play for your country, and I was lucky enough to play for Scotland 26 times, and Stevie a lot more than I do. They were precious times going away and playing, but now that you analyse the game, it doesn't seem the same standard. And then as soon as that week's sort of gone, you're itching for the Premier League to come back.
Frank, do you like the international break?
No, as a pundit.
Yes.
As a pundit, no. No, I don't like. I mean, it's boring. The competition, all the games mostly very boring. I'm waiting for the World Cup, European Championship, but what I see and what we saw like a fortnight ago, I mean, not interested at all.
The Nations League, obviously available on ESPN Plus. Stevie, I know you do like that.
Oh, love the Nations League.
Yes, good.
Absolutely.
I changed my mind. I love it too.
Well, listen, there's one thing you can't argue. At least now we kind of see some competitiveness in the internationals, because what the Nations League has done is well, they've turned it into competition, whereas before they were just friendly. So, you know, you could tell that A, half the players weren't particularly interested in being there, and B, the crowds, there was no crowds. Now there's no crowds now because of the pandemic, but even when they were allowed in, they wouldn't turn up because people had lost interest in it. So, listen, the Nations League has given us a little bit of something to grasp onto, but international football is still way away from how important it used to be.
Almost.
One thing I'm not interested about, Dan. One thing I don't agree with Stevie. When you play for your country, I don't understand that that you can think that you have a friendly game, so it's not very interesting and not very important. When you play for your country, you play for your color, you play for your flag, you have to give 100%. I mean, you can understand playing for your club, like Liverpool playing against Lincoln. With all due respect, sorry, let me finish. With all due respect, it's a little bit boring for the Liverpool players to play against Lincoln. But when you play for the national team, even if you play against a so-called small country, you play for your country. You have to win for your country. So even if it's a friendly, you have to play at the max. I never understood that when players were saying, well, it's a friendly, I don't want to be part of it. Don't go to the national team. Don't play for your country if it's like that. I don't agree with that, I'm sorry.
Frank, how many games did you play when there was less than 100 million people at the game for France? During your time, the international game was extremely popular. Extremely popular.
That's true.
I'm telling you now, it's not. And to turn up with no crowd and get your juices flowing, it's not quite as easy as when there's what, 60 to 80,000 people in the stadium.
Well, I understand that during the pandemic, when I follow France or I follow England or I follow Germany every time they play in a full crowd. But I still hear the players saying, well, you know, but they don't say it publicly, but I hear from friends of a friend, yeah, he doesn't want to play, he says he was injured because he didn't want to play against, Albania because it was friendly.
Don, do you hate Scotland as much as Stevie does?
No, but just to try and put some perspective on it, when I was playing for Scotland, we came up against New Zealand, which was like just the most ridiculous game ever, and we actually lost the game, which was even more ridiculous under Bertie Vogts. But the weekend after, you've got a really important Premier League game and a really 6-pointer when you're trying to get into Europe, and you've got to try and put everything into playing Scotland versus New Zealand. It's like, I understand what Frank said, and I agree with what he's saying to a point, but you're never playing at your max because you're scared that you might just get a knock or get an injury in the bigger game. You ain't going to put everything into playing against New Zealand. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Don, I agree with you, and I can understand that. But at the end of the day, you put shame on Scotland, on your country, on your team, on your national team, because you lost against New Zealand. Yeah, but no, but that's the truth. And I'm sorry, you have to agree with me. And you have Scottish fans, you know, say, well, they don't respect our team. You know, it's what I just said. You know, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I would probably have done the same because you have an important game 5 days after.
Finally, if Frank could suggest any French wine to go with Stevie's shepherd's pie, what would it be?
No, I don't know if I want to waste a good wine for shepherd's pie.
No. Stevie, you don't...
No, maybe a ball.
You don't like wine, Stevie, no?
You don't like wine on top of it?
No.
Oh, my God.
Don't get it.
There is a fantastic... There is a fantastic... Oh, my God. Now you have Bordeaux, some Bordeaux and Bourgogne will go very well with your shepherd's pie. Not very expensive.
Beautiful. What's the point?
So, Frank, I've got a question for you.
Tell me.
Frank, would you have a white or a red with red meat?
Always red with red meat. And now you're allowed with fish to have also red wine, even if it's before it was only white. But now you're allowed to have some reds.
I like a bit of fish.
But never a white wine with a red meat. Never. That's insulting the wines.
Oh, there we go. Don,
okay. I'll remember.
The point of wine?
I mean, listen, I remember having a glass of wine years ago and I put some ice in my wine and someone went absolutely mental at me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You can do that on the rosé. Now you can do that on the rosé, but you never do that on the white, on the red wine, you know.
Yeah, but I like it cold, Frank. I like my wine cold, so it was warm, and I was like, what am I going to drink warm wine for? Put some ice in it.
No, you don't drink red wines cold. It's 12 degrees, between 12 and 15 degrees. The red wine, but never cold.
I didn't have a thermometer
maybe
at the time.
a Beaujolais.
I just guessed it was too warm.
Well, what if you're sitting outside and it's 90 degrees outside?
Put some ice in it.
You drink a beer. I don't know, drink water, drink soda, drink whatever. But don't drink
put some ice in it and have a nice, well-done steak while you're there.
Oh, yeah. Frank, you're talking to two people who have their steak well done.
Put a bucket of ice, will you? This wine's boiling.
Oh, goodness me. What a crazy old extra time. That's it. Thank you very much. We'll edit all that stuff out, Don. Don't worry. We'll be back here tomorrow for more. Until then, goodbye.
Hey, don't put the Champs-Élysées on. Frank will be standing at attention.
Vive la France! Ces féroces soldats. Voilà, vive la France!
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.